Welcome back to JuicedCast. Today we're joined by a really special guest. But before we get into that, I just want to introduce my co-host, Saucy Mango. How's it going, bro?
I'm doing well, DTX. Happy to be back. We've been knocking down some good amount of episodes lately with some really cool guests. I'm excited to sort of start pushing those out for those of you who listen to or frequent listeners to our podcast. As DTX mentioned, I'm really excited today. Super pumped to get out a really special guest. For those of you who may have just joined the scene of reselling or remember your earlier days of reselling, I am sure that you guys have possibly come across Couple Clock on Instagram. The best sort of type of release guides, price predictions, all that good stuff in our industry. Couple Clock gets that done for you. So without further ado, welcome Couple Clock. How's it going, man?
Thank you. Going good. Honored to be here. Honored to even be asked to feature on a podcast. So it's a dope experience.
Absolutely. So Joe, tell us a little about sort of how you came to start Couple Clock, your little journey in this industry and where you are today. How did all this start for you?
Okay, so I started my page back in 2017 summer. I think it was like August or something. So that's right when I was graduating from college.
Okay.
And I was in this limbo period of life, like, not really sure if I wanted to pursue what I had majored in already. And then I started reselling like more heavily in like 2016, 2017. So as I started doing that, I realized there never were any pages on Instagram that gave out like resale predictions. I saw a couple on Twitter before, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just try it on Instagram just for fun. Like literally saw no future. I was just posting for fun. And 2017, so within maybe like 2 months, my page like popped off to like 1,000 followers, and I was like, whoa.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like never would have expected this to happen.
Was it always like just kind of like within your community, like your local community, kind of just sharing with friends and family, and then sort of started to grow through there?
No, I actually never even told any of my friends
Wow, that's cool.
or family until I hit 1K, because I was like, it's embarrassing if I just make a page and so I just made it for fun, kept it really low key, and then
Yeah.
once I hit 1K, I was like, told my friends like, yo, I made a page and like it hit 1,000 followers. Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Back then that
So
that
I'm
was
assuming
huge.
you never like envisioned doing anything of this sort of
Oh
stature,
no,
no?
not at
No.
all. Yeah, because I was just reselling for fun, like just to make some extra money. And I think I happened to make it at the perfect time, because I think 2017 was when Supreme started really gaining traction.
That's
And
when the
like,
whole overall market for this type of hype apparel, sneakers, all that stuff really took off seriously from like a seller standpoint, right? There was
oh,
always
yep.
that idea of the commodity itself that
Hmm.
consumers always wanted, but the idea of you can actually make, a passive income in this industry, that was what people started to realize around that time. So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. That's when Supreme was getting really big. Off-White, Nike started happening. So I think I just started that page at a perfect time when
So, what year was this? I don't know if you mentioned it already. Must have.
Around
2017 summer is
2017.
when I started.
Oh, okay. So it's been like almost 4 years now.
Yeah, almost 4 years.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So,
So what would you say? Like, obviously, I'm sure you're familiar with other competitors or other sort of things within our industry for reselling, such as like cook groups or
mhm,
just all these information services.
mhm.
With the success that you've drawn and you've been able to sort of build within the last 4 years, what made you decide to sort of stay free, if that makes sense? Because sometimes people who are looking to make, good money in this industry, they say, oh, this information is very valuable. I don't think I should be just giving it away like that. So,
Right.
well, why is that sort of your approach? And also, how does it differ from other information services, if that makes sense?
Okay. Well, first of all, Instagram is, I've seen people do like you pay like a monthly thing to
Yeah.
become on someone's like a close friends list or something, and they'll post like
Yeah.
exclusive
Yeah.
info on there. But in the end, all information gets recycled through everywhere. So my approach was more so stay free, gain and grow the brand, just
Mhm.
become as big as I can. And what better way by doing that is by keeping it free, right?
Mhm.
And I never really looked to monetize through my page. It was more so to open more doors for myself through it, right? So with a bigger page, I can advertise my group, for example.
So expand through that, sort of build upon that brand, right?
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
And
really looking to do sponsorships or anything like that at the time, right?
at the time, I mean, I was doing like little advertisements here and there, and then through my store Instagram story, I would do ads. So it was just like a little extra side money as I kept going through it. And then at this, I was still never fully dependent, thinking this is gonna be like my
Mhm.
future, you know.
Mhm.
So it was just more so I just wanted to create a social media presence out there.
Yeah. So today, like obviously, in addition to sort of growing your brand, I mean, the biggest thing now for people looking to make the climb,
Hmm.
digital and like social media real estate's really big. Have you indulged in those areas in terms of like sort of making a career out of it in the sense of growing other Instagram pages, growing other people's platforms in that sense through Cop O'Clock?
Oh yeah, that's basically what I've been kind of doing. I started working with like Bot Broker, Scout, my
Mm-hmm.
group, and then I started getting into like all these people are hitting me up now, like asking me to basically run their Instagram social media pages for them.
Be like a
And
PR in a
yeah,
sense, right?
as a PR basically. So yeah, it definitely opened a lot more doors for me in the marketing sense.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'd assume so. So like, all these companies are kind of coming to you in a sense and like asking you, we've seen what you did with your Instagram. Can you do it with ours? But is it only
Exactly.
Instagram, or are they asking you for like their Twitters and stuff like that too?
My Twitter expertise is really not that great. I got into the Twitter game super late.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
um I do wish I started that earlier because
Yeah,
I feel like in at least sneaker Twitter world is like very different from Instagram sneaker world. Whereas like the people in sneaker Twitter, they're very knowledgeable within like bodying and all that stuff. So it's a very more specialized niche audience on Twitter compared to
yeah.
Instagram, I would say. So I mean I would have loved to get into Twitter marketing, but I don't think I have the full ability to do well in there.
So what
So I
made
never
you
I
pursue Instagram then? Sorry, what were you saying?
oh yeah, I mean I was always already familiar with Instagram. I even my personal social media, I never really used Twitter until like when I started my Instagram. And then I think a few years after that was when I started an Instagram page for just like my personal Couple Clock Twitter account, just to have a presence on there. And then at first it was more so like I was trying to grow like a sneaker information type of page, but I decided just keep it more personal and it's like my persona out there on Twitter rather
That
than
makes
like an
sense.
information page. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like that's kind of the reason you went towards Instagram, but you know, no matter what the social media platform is, it's a great way for networking, great way to build connections. And can you kind
Mhm.
of tell us the importance of building your connections and how they potentially like play a role in, you know, how you acquire information for your page? Um, and if you don't like have anyone else like, you know, giving you this information or whatever it may be, like how are
Mhm.
you able to do it all by yourself? Do you have like people working for you or people posting for you, stuff like that?
Right. So my Instagram page is solely me. So I only have access to this. So all posting is done through me. Information, I do a lot of digging myself through other sources. And as I started my page, I've had more people contact me separately saying, oh, I have this info. And once I realized they're a more reliable source, then I would start posting their information if they were to give it to me. Um, so I think connections were huge. Not so much in growing my page, I would say. I mean,
Mostly content, you'd say then?
content and I guess like the growth of the page, it did help knowing other similar pages within the community because like we would like come together, do giveaways and stuff. So in that sense, yeah, it did help me grow. But in terms of like information and stuff, it wasn't that big of a deal, in my opinion.
Okay, so that makes sense. And then, wait, so was Cop O'Clock started? Wait, Cop O'Clock was also started. Wait, that was started 4 years ago, and then your group started how long ago? 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So our 3-year anniversary was
I
literally
saw
yesterday.
that this morning
Yeah.
on Instagram. Yeah, so I've actually been following y'all since I think I started reselling Drop
wow.
O'Clock. Yeah, and
Man,
I think
thank you
I
for your
actually have
support.
some DMs with y'all too.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy thing that just happened by chance because my partner Leo he was another page on Instagram at the time when I started, and his page was Bape Drop. I don't know if you've ever seen that page, but he used to provide Bape info back when Bape was like a bit more hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it died out. So he used to give me advice on like how to grow my page and stuff, and I never met the guy, and we would just trade DMs like here and there. And after a year of just becoming like friends on social media, he just hit me up and he's like, oh, like these kind of groups are starting to pop off. Like, do you want to try starting it together? And from there, like the rest was history. Like it took a lot of time and effort, but we grew our group to what it is today. And I'm very proud of how far it's come. And it wouldn't have been possible without him. So that's why in that sense, connections were huge.
Yeah.
He opened so many more doors for me after that.
That makes sense. Yeah, he was a big gateway into like the kind of the group scene and all that, and like you know growing
like
in that.
sneaker Twitter, all those, because I had no idea really about any like AM Notify, all that stuff. I didn't know anything about it until we started our group.
Okay, that makes sense. So like yeah, in general, this kind of just opened you up to that. So I remember you guys had, and I don't know if you guys do this anymore, so correct me if I'm wrong. I remember around the time you guys dropped or not you guys dropped, but around the time the Ben and Jerry's dropped, right? The Chunky Donkeys. That's around the time I started trying to get into groups. I tried to get into your group, and then you guys also had a spoof browser, right, or something like that. And
oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys have that anymore.
Oh, the tools that they have. Yeah.
Yeah. So my friend actually ended up joining your group, and he was always like, this back when I was like, you know, and nobody, I knew nothing about reselling, right? And he always used to tell me, dude, there's a spoof browser. I used to go crazy. I used to be like, dude, I need to get into this group. I need to get into this group. It's crazy. It's crazy how far we come, because a spoof browser used to actually like, you know, work on these sites right now. Now it doesn't really do anything, right?
Right.
But back then that used to be like a pretty big thing. So it's crazy to see how far not only, you know, you've come, or how far Drop O'Clock has come, you know, since then. And I remember you guys did get on pools too, I think, right?
On pools?
Yeah, back last summer.
Oh, like reselling different
flipping
goods.
pools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I remember. That's when I was trying to join, but you know, you guys have a lot of demand. I was never able to get lucky, but that's crazy.
I mean, if you ever want to join, let me know. I got you.
Thank you, bro. But that's crazy to see how far you guys have come, and like, you know, your Instagram page, and you know, I think you guys help a lot of beginners, which is like crazy to think about, like how many beginners probably end up, like, you know, they get into the scene, they join Drop O'Clock, they kind of get an idea for what reselling is, they use your tools, they use your resources, and then they're able to grow and, you know, become big names in the industry.
Yeah, 100%. That's literally like that's kind of one of our like main focal points, is like, because a lot of people on Instagram, they don't know all the stuff about botting and stuff, so they come in knowing nothing, and what we wanted to do was kind of grow these people
for everyone, right?
Yeah, simplify it for them to understand easily, and through a few months they end up knowing more than me, and like I learned so much from members who then turn into staff. Like that's what I like to see, progression, and a lot of people grow so much, and it's crazy. Yeah.
Our industry is like so diverse, right? And so there's so much to learn, and I think what Drop O'Clock does is sort of make that easier for everyone. But if you don't mind me sort of taking a little different direction, I wanted to get a little more insight into sort of your content, and sort of maybe if you can share to our listeners a little tips and tricks or advice for anyone looking to grow an Instagram page or just create content, because you know when you look at your page, right, for the average person, it's very clean, right? Like most of your, I think the one thing that people fail to recognize when they're trying to grow their pages is like consistency and like a proper theme to follow every time, right? Where you have a certain title, certain date, certain price that is placed specifically consistently at the same time every time you post a new shoe, a new item, whatever it may be. So how do you go about that? What's sort of the creative process? How do you sort of tailor towards what your users need? And how can someone sort of not necessarily recreate that, but go about it their own way as well?
Yeah. First and foremost, I would say initially you want to get a page that's either going to market something new or the same thing in a different way, because nowadays there's pages for everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's very saturated out there. So you have to provide content that's going to be different or something that's, you don't see all the time. So it's something that more people are going to engage with rather than just like skip through it. So it does take trial and error. And I think it helps to change the account to a business account because you get access to all these crazy insights and you can see like what posts are working, what's not working, what hashtags are working, what's not. And so through that, you kind of do a little trial and error and you see like when one type of post pops off, then oh, like I should probably try doing more of these.
What did you do right there? Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, it does take a little trial and error, but once you start getting into the groove of it, that's when you want to start making your content consistent. Like you said, you want it to kind of look the same with the same theme regularly. So people know it's you when they see that post,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was right about to say, like with Copper Clock and y'all's format and post, the second you see it, you know where it's from, right?
Yeah, and then you put the tag there, and that's how people know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the second you see the format or the template, okay, this was posted by
from
Copper
this
Clock.
Instagram page. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
Right,
it's like
right.
it's always the date and then the shoe.
Yeah,
I have it engraved in my head, so yeah. So it's like that's, I think, the most important thing, establishing brand, right? How long would you say it took you to establish Copper Clock as a brand in sneaker Instagram?
I want to say a year. I think within the first year, or by January 1st of 2019 is when I hit 100K. And I think that's when that's when I had my content pretty regular, consistent. And it was just like, that's me. And then
I'm sorry, I was just asking, like, you said you hit 100K, right? So would you be ever looking into getting your Instagram verified? Would that be something you'd want to do? Like,
that's a good question. Yeah.
100%. I would love that. But Instagram's very picky with how you get verified. You have to kind of have a presence outside of Instagram to get verified.
A licensed business. Sometimes they even
like an article written about you. I've heard that's one big thing or something like that. Yeah.
So like you'll see Instagram models with like 500,000 followers, but they don't have the verification badge. Whereas like there's an athlete in college, 8,000 followers, and he has a verification badge. So it really depends.
So speaking on sort of like those numbers for followers and stuff like that, if someone's looking to grow their account or just start from nowhere, like what are your thoughts on sort of like the natural growth versus like someone just purchasing account and going off that followership? Like what are the pros and cons for both? What are your thoughts on that and that?
I understand the concept of you wanting to purchase a page with a following
like
already.
Pre-farmed, right?
Yeah, but a lot of the times those pages don't end up working out because, first of all, that audience wasn't geared towards the content you wanted. Second, most of them are probably going to be ghost followers. So
the engagement's low, right?
Exactly. You can have all the followers, but if the engagement's low, it doesn't look that great, right? And there's so growing organically, like for me, for example, I was very active in my DMs. So I would literally be on my phone for like hours just talking to people who are DMing me and like just helping them out or like just having conversations. And I think that's how I grew a lot of relationships with my followers, and it did help grow engagement as well at the same time. So I think you know, you can't just have a brand that's out there. You kind of want to engage with your followers at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of gave us an idea on how Dropicod came to be, and you know, how you guys expanded with, you know, Babe Drops and everything, and how he's your partner with it, and got you into the sneaker Twitter scene and all that. How would you say you've been able to expand the group and diversify, coming from, like, you know, starting off just like, I've seen a lot of Instagram pages similar to yours, create a cook group and they're not successful, right?
Right.
What did you do to diversify into becoming a successful group?
I think the biggest part for my group was our community. So we were very lucky to have the people we had join. It's a very friendly and nice atmosphere where like people can just come in and they'll just have conversations for like hours, and people
More of
literally
a family feel, right?
yeah, it's a very family
Mhm.
family feel. Like a lot of people become friends like outside of Discord, and we've had people meet up with each other, and like in now it just feels like a second family to me. Like I would just hop in, people would just be talking, and the more experienced people will now help newcomers who come in like get started, and they know how they felt in their shoes when they first got into a cook group and didn't know anything. So I think it's like a mentorship aspect of like someone who's started from nothing and learned all this, and now they could like pass it on to another person. And that was like an internal growth within there, and that helped us maintain. And then growth came in from Instagram, where we would just, you know, you can cook like this with us. So that was the initial
Like
approach of
success
just,
and all
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So you have to get that initial eye appeal of someone wanting to join in. And then the next part, which is the hardest part, is keeping that person within the group, right? And so it took a lot of trial and error, but we found that catering to the people who were new and putting extra attention on them and helping them grow helped us grow the group, because we do like referrals too, like you can bring in your friends and stuff. So that helps even more, because they can word of mouth, they tell their friend,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm cooking like this, why don't you come and see if you can do the same, you know, make money
Yeah.
with me.
So for someone who has like so much access to information, so many sort of like predictions, release calendars, like all the access to what's going to be coming out. Obviously, you know, in our industry, there's always something cool that's going to be dropping, whether it's a
Right.
week from now, a month from now, whatever. I'm always wondering, what does Joe have like sort of marked on his calendar for this summer? What do you think is sort of the sneaker for this summer, whether it's like just personal or for even resale as well?
Sneaker for me, I don't know. I haven't kept a personal in a actually, yeah, I have. I was a very big Nike head, but I've been really diving into New Balances.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Uh Personals. I probably don't want to toe those Travis Scott fragments. Those will probably be a big flip for me. I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything that really popped off.
Not yet. Yeah. We
Not
have,
yet.
I mean, we talked a couple episodes ago, DTX and I talked about sort of Travis Scott collaboration coming up with like Dior, and then we have like a couple collaborations coming up with like obviously Off-White and stuff.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on those? Like, what are your thoughts on how sort of they've progressed in terms of fashion, or even regressed per se, like with the 50 shoes, right? Coming out
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I've been pretty vocal about the
Yeah.
fact that the
Yeah.
AMM threes are the shoe of the year, and
Oh,
that Off
those are
White
so
is
fire.
yeah, and that Off White is going to shit. I've been pretty vocal about it.
Yeah, the creative process there is lacking, man. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
what are your thoughts on that stuff?
I agree. I think they're just like soaking it up while they can, you know, like money grab.
Mhm.
At least for Off-White.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Travis Scott he has the Midas touch. Literally anything he touches is money. Like
It's the Travis Scott effect, as we like to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally anything he touches, it's worth money. So um I mean, I love his shoes. They're really dope. I think the only one I've kept for personal was his Air Force Ones. But
yeah,
Oh,
those
those
are
are
cool.
fire.
Those
yeah,
are
they're
really
fire.
cool.
They're so nice. I think I feel like a lot of sneakers nowadays is really just a money grab, like all the collabs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Off-White, I think. Yeah, I mean, you can even tell like the resale prices for everything is dropping like crazy low now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
you'll
Well,
make
do you
100 at
think
best.
kind of
we've
in a
seen?
recession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen a little prices on like I remember I copped a couple pairs for myself, copped a couple pairs for some other resellers or people looking to flip shoes, and some
Mhm.
of them even hold shoes, right? And some of them held like couple ones, and like now the prices are going down for a lot of sneakers. The profits aren't, the margins aren't there anymore. Why
Right.
why is that?
The market's way too saturated. They're releasing shoes like, I can even barely keep up. We have so many releases every week, especially with dunks. Like, it's crazy because last year it was so hard to get a dunk, and this year it's, you have a colorway in every shade possible. So that's why dunks are going. Some are you won't even break even sometimes. So I think Nike and Jordan maybe needs to like slow it down a little
Yeah,
for because there's just too many things to keep up with, and people aren't going to pay resale for every
people
single
don't have
sneaker.
time to even like breathe in between releases. I think that's
Exactly.
really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
I
mean,
mean, yeah. I mean, the summer is filled with a lot of bangers shoe wise. The rest of the year is filled with a lot of bangers, in my opinion.
yeah, I have the UNCs right now, and I'm like debating if I want to keep these or not. They're really nice.
I did the
Which
same
ones? The
thing.
fours?
The UNC
ones.
dunks, the
Oh, the
University
dunks,
Boosts.
the recent dunks.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
So
nice.
with the UNC ones, what I did was like, all right, I have enough ones. I have like around 6, 7 pairs of ones. I was like, I don't need another pair. But I really like these. These are nice. So I was like, okay, I hit a lot of UNC ones
Mhm.
through in store. My in store plug was like, all right, I'll get you Hyper Royal. So I was like, I'd rather have Hyper Royals than this.
Mhm.
UNC fours come around, or not? I forgot which drop it was. Yeah, UNC fours. It was right before Hyper Royal was in store, and he got fired that day. So
Oh my
Wow.
God.
I ended up not getting any
I remember
shoes.
that. You told me that story.
He got
Yeah.
fired for backdooring or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, he was backdooring like everything. He ended up. He made a lot of money though. He was making like $100 a shoe, so
Damn.
worked
Yeah.
out for him. But I mean, not for me. So I ended up just getting shadows instead. So now, no UNC ones or
I
Hyper
think
Royal
those will,
ones.
like all those shoes that we talked about that are going down, I think they'll slowly climb up soon. Like maybe give it another couple months. Maybe those will slowly come back.
Oh yeah,
Especially
for
the
sure.
UNC colorways, right? Those always do well.
Yeah. I think this happens like every once in a while. Like shoe prices just start dipping.
Mhm.
Everyone's like getting stuck with them. But at a certain point, when there's like not enough pairs on the market, you kind of control the prices. So
Control the
Exactly.
market. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Well,
Less dead stock pairs.
yeah,
well, for everyone listening, if you made it this far, we appreciate you for listening to the podcast. These are questions that me and Saucy had prepared for Joe or Cop O'Clock, and I think we really need to have him on the podcast again. I'm sure Saucy would agree.
Absolutely. We need like a refresher on
Yeah.
some hype
Think
stuff
like-
coming out soon.
Man,
We
I
gotta get
appreciate
more
it,
info
guys.
from you,
This
man.
needs to be a reoccurring thing, in my opinion. But we really appreciate you for coming on, Joe. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
to
it.
everyone that listened. Cop O'Clock social media is in the description below. Our Discords are on the screen. Mine and Saucy's social medias are in the description below. If you want to reach out, DM us, add us on Twitter or anything like that. Anything in store for Cop O'Clock in the next few months that you want to share on the podcast?
My main focus right now is just growing the group, helping manage the pages, and I do have something planned, but I can't disclose it yet.
Ooh, okay.
Until if things go according to plan, we'll see.
Well,
But
That just
hopefully
means
the
you
next
gotta
time
come
we
back
have you
on.
back on,
Yeah,
you'll-
that
you'll
just
be
yeah,
gives
able
you
to
no,
a
be
I
good
would,
reason.
I would love to come back on again
Yeah, hopefully we can prepare some more questions, get a longer episode,
for
and
sure.
next time. But
Yeah.
yeah, Saucy, what were you saying? My bad.
No, I just want to say, like you said, DTX, thank you very much, Joe, for taking the time to join us and be a part of JuicedCast and give some information, a little insight into who you are, what you do, and obviously what Cup O'Clock does. This was a really good episode, great conversation, and really enjoyed getting to know you, man.
Hey, thank you guys. It was an honor.
Well, for those of you that made it this far, thank you guys for listening, and until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace.